Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel at 15. My name is Chloe. I'm hosting the format 24 hours on here. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. So in today's episode, I'm really excited to share with you. I spoke to Sophie Trelles-Tvede. Sophie is the founder of Invisibobble. Invisibobbles are little spider-shaped hair ties that look like telephone cords. I'm sure you've seen around by now. And the remarkable thing about Sophie's story is that not only did she found her own company at the age of only 18 years old, while still being a freshman at university, together with her then boyfriend Felix, but that she also came across this innovation really by complete accident as she got ready for a party. So now in 2020, about 100 million sold hair ties later, Sophie being a millionaire and a Forbes M30 list maker, she also officially became managing partner at New Flag, where she continues to disrupt the beauty industry. We talked about fake it till you make it, how to start your own company while still being a student, and what you should pay close attention to when you want to start a company in the beauty industry.
For us, we always took it one step at a time. So we were always focusing at a different portion of our business at one given time. So at the beginning it was all about product. Then it was all about distribution. Then it was all about marketing it. Then it was about fixing our logistics and production problems and so on and so forth. But inherently the one thing that pulls through that only you as a founder can do, and in my opinion, till this day is my biggest responsibility as a founder, is to believe in what I'm doing. So at the beginning, it was to believe in the product. Then it was believing that we can distribute it. Then it was believing that we can market it and create a real brand out of it and go and so on and so forth. Because if I, as a founder, don't believe, the only reason that this whole thing exists is because of me. If I don't believe, then no one else believes. And that's, at the end of the day, a company or a brand is not something you can touch. It's not, I mean, you can touch the product, right? But the brand is not something you can touch, and it's something that is a state of mind. It lives in the brain. So you as a founder have the responsibility to start it and then to grow it. And I think for us, it was constantly what we were thinking. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter that people think we're too young, too inexperienced, that they think the product is dumb or too simple. You have to continue believing, and you have to push through, and you have bad days. But to compensate for that, you also have really good days. Yeah. I had lived in Switzerland all my life, so it was pretty clear, like, well, yeah, I'm going to end up at Credit Suisse or similar. The reality then was I probably would have done really poorly in banking. But anyway, what does entrepreneurship mean to me? It was never really a goal necessarily to found a company. Had you asked me, a couple of months before founding it, could you imagine yourself founding a company one day? My answer wouldn't have been no. It also wouldn't have been like, yes, it is my goal, that before I turn 30 or 40 or whatever, that I founded a company. But entrepreneurship, for me, it's a difficult question. I would probably say the ability to ignore everything that is around you and just push through, and to create an idea and place it into other people's heads in such a way that you become, I guess, part of a community together. It's not about the prestige that comes with it. It's not about anything. At the end of the day, it's about pulling through. It's probably about eating crap 99% of the time, but picking yourself up again and understanding that in the long term, there's something better for you to achieve, or something better that will be there. Definitely that you start immediately. The sooner the better. That's for sure. I mean, and I've always said this, there's no better time to start your company than right now. And right now also doesn't mean tomorrow morning or after the weekend. Right now means right now. I think the biggest issue, or the biggest reason that companies don't actually get founded is because people don't think it's the right time. And I'm happy that you asked the question, should people wait until they finish their studies? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's a beauty in being able to study. So in most universities, studies are laid out in such a way that you have a lot of free time, which is actually meant for you to study for university. You can very well use that time to found a company. The beauty about being at university whilst you found a company is that you don't need to give anything else up. I think it's much easier to start a company whilst you're studying because of the flexibility that you have with your studies, rather than when you already have a job, especially if you have a very time-consuming and demanding job like working in consulting or something like this, where you really work from early in the morning until late in the evening and possibly weekends as well, where time is not on your side to do something like that. And equally, I can understand that it's very daunting to say, I'm going to quit my job now and put everything on the line to found something where I don't know if I can pay my bills at the end of the month and so on. This I can really understand. So long story short, and I will never change that answer, the best time to start a company is now. The sooner the better. Within beauty, I guess what goes for people is that people or like consumers are constantly looking for indie brands. So small brands that are founder led and have a real goal other than to sell products, whether that goal is to increase the performance in an area, whether it is to offer the best product or the best like life mission, maybe a lot of them, they do a charity that is integrated into the company. This is always really great. But I think when you look at our model and what we managed to do, we've always been very product oriented. And what was so great for us is that we found this little niche and we carved it out. If you manage to do that, you start without competition and you have this like amazing moment where you're alone. I guess it's like going on a track and you're in lane 1 and lanes 2 to 8 don't even have anyone in them yet, and you're just sort of running these laps by yourself. Well, you're always the winner. I mean, you're technically also always the loser, but you're by yourself on there. And then as you get more successful, obviously more people then enter the race and then you're doing your thing. But if you can really figure out that niche and how do you find a niche? I mean, you can have a feel for the market. I mean, there's social media at your fingertips. You have all of the shops available. I mean, you're saying now specifically about beauty. I mean, beauty is one of the things that is really still bought in shops because people like the interaction with the product in the shop. They like to see it firsthand. They like to touch it, and so on and so forth. So have a look and see, given that you want to do something in the beauty industry, you might already have something in mind. See what's around, what is missing. On social media, people talk all the time. What are people complaining about the most? And why is there not a solution for that? Always look for that niche. The title existed before the manuscript, which I think doesn't happen so often. And what I really wanted to show with the book, or the main goal of the book, is to have people stop this mentality of, I have an idea, I want to start something, but I will do it later, which I am inherently allergic to. You should start it. If you want to do something, you should do it now. Now is always better. And the reason people want to start things later is because they have a fear, because they have a job, or they have this, or they have that. And I understand all of that. It's human nature not to do it. And with my book, I just wanted to humble down what it is to start a business. And I think in that respect, my profile is pretty good because I was only 18. I had no prior experience in anything. And we also didn't get funding from anywhere. It's completely bootstrapped. And we just went by gut feeling. And in order to illustrate that, I thought the title was pretty good because the 100 million hair ties symbolizes where we are today, or at the time of writing the book, where we had just sold our 100 millionth Invisibobble. And the Vodka Tonic is representative of the humble beginnings when we were at university drinking lots of vodka tonics. And where that was the extent of where my mind was, let's say, I wasn't thinking about what I want to do in 5 years. I wasn't thinking about my essay that is due in 2 weeks. I was thinking about the vodka tonic I'm going to drink at the bar tonight, and how much fun I'm going to have. And that it doesn't matter what your mindset is or whatever you're doing. It's never let's say, a bad time to start a business. I don't know if I can share you a success story. The way that the book is written is just like shit show after shit show after shit show, and how we fixed it. I think this is the important part, like how you fail, but then also how you very quickly pull yourself together and sort that out. I am a true believer that you learn the most from how or when things go wrong. If I had to share one, I mean, probably the most intense story that's in there, or the one that took the biggest psychological toll on me, was at the time where we were sorting out our production. So our business was very much run that we were focusing on different things at different times. First on creating the perfect product, then about distributing it, blah, blah. And at some point it was all about sorting out our production in the sense that we can deliver the right amount of product and the right quality at the right time, but also very important that it is sourced from a, let's say, sustainable and fair source, which for small accessories like this is not the case. And we worked really hard. I spent 2 years, or I spent a lot of time in China at the production sites, let's say, or flying back and forth. And we wanted to get our factory audited concretely, because Sephora and 2 other customers needed an audit, fairly enough. And we're preparing everything for the audit. And we kept feeling that there was something going wrong, or there was something fishy about the situation. We eventually figured out that the factory was fake. And when I say the factory was fake, I mean that they set up a fake production in a hall. So they constructed a building that was empty and put machines in there and put fake employees in there and pretended to make Invisibobbles for the week that we were there. What we then did was we analyzed everything in a lot of detail. Your measure, or we were counting how many meters of extrusion lines are running, how many employees do they have in this and this station. And we were like, but there's a huge bottleneck here and here, and this makes no sense. And we then asked them to do special products like our Christmas collection and stuff, and they couldn't do it. And it turned out that, the factory didn't exist. Essentially what they were doing, which happens very often in China, is that they source from a lot of different locations at the same time, which is essentially very often these are people who work on the rice fields during the day, and then in the evening they can manufacture small things in their homes. Per se, there's nothing wrong with that, except for that there is a problem with that when you don't have, it cannot be regulated what is going on in these homes. We're working with machines that sometimes go above 100 degrees Celsius and stuff like that. There's just a lot of hazards. That, I would say, was the closest I ever was to having like a mental breakdown or something like that. We also took our partner to court because she had been lying for us for all of the years leading up till that point. We lost in court, as I feel very often is the case with such stories. This took the limit for me. When you're really trying to do something good, you're trying to grow the business, you're trying to do things in a fair and sustainable way, and this is how you get paid back. I was just like, I was absolutely speechless. And since then, I'm not naive anymore. This was my learning, other than sorting it out and then actually setting up our own production side, which is what we still work with today. And we have our own people there at all times, so we really know 100% what's going on. I have also learned not to be naive anymore. And not to trust people I don't know.